So welcome to Season 1, Episode 1 of our first podcast, Conscious Conversations. This is an opportunity for us to have the conversations with the people that you're interested in, but most importantly, to ask them the questions that you're dying to ask. And because it is our first episode and we've no guests yet, we're stuck talking to each other. Yeah.
Well, that's good. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us. So the concept was me and Ciaran had been asked on dozens of podcasts, and we were like, maybe we should do our own and let us ask the questions. But yeah, so here we are. So Ciaran, lots of people often ask me, how did you meet?
I remember.
Yeah.
Went swimming one morning and met you at Helen's Bay with Kate and your dog. And then it was just swimming, really. Yeah.
I was really not well at the time. Mm-hmm. I was really unwell.
And I didn't know you. Like, it's the same with Kate. I don't really pay attention to the media and stuff. I just seen Ciara. Mm-hmm. And then, obviously, we were sharing, like, stories of swimming with each other. And I remember loads of people saying, do you go swimming with your girl Ciara Daly makeup? And I was like, but as a man, obviously, I have no, like, makeup or beauty isn't in my thing. It was the same with Kate. I'd never listened to the radio, really. It was always Spotify. And I was like, yeah. And then I knew quite quickly that you were like a successful businesswoman. But again, I just seen you as, I mean, we were meeting at 6 o'clock in the morning.
Aye, sleep still in their eyes.
Sleep still, just dry robes, tracksuits. And I don't know if I've told you this, but you dropped me home one day and you were asking me like what my plans were for business and stuff. Mm-hmm. And I remember saying to you, like, I have these big dreams and aspirations, but my home and my family is very important to me. And I remember you said, you were like, I believe you, I want to gift you a business course. Do you remember you gave me a wee course, the business course? Mm-hmm. And that just meant so much to me. Like, so much. I don't know why. I think it was because somebody maybe had belief in me, because when you start off in your business, you're on your own. Mm-hmm. You do everything. So the fact that another business owner, somebody I respected, gave me that, it just meant so much to me. And it was such a big instrumental part, I suppose, in my growth. And then, this was during lockdown. This was a weird time. Yeah, you know,
isn't it mental now? Like, it was 3 years ago, and it is mental now that we can join our dots to bring us to here today. Like, I was so unwell, really unwell. I remember even, there's the photo of that day of me, you and Kate. And sometimes when I look back of when I was on, like, what I would call being unwell, like in a bad bout of depression, and I get so saddened when I see pictures of myself, because I remember how I felt. And I went cold water swimming because I was so desperate to feel anything but how I was feeling. So, and how many people I talk about cold water swimming to, and they all have the exact same responses what I first had when Kate had mentioned it. It was like, oh God, no, I don't like the cold. But and it is still to a lot of people, it's a new concept, the cold water swimming. They can't understand why you would put yourself through that. But as I say, I was so desperate to feel something other than what I was feeling. I was willing to go, well, frig it. And Kate had says, this guy, he's amazing, and had sung your praises so much. And then I went down, and I remember being like,
who's this rocket?
This big guy here, big hairy arse tattooed fella with a, you know. But I remember feeling a real warmth from you straight away. And I don't know whether it was the first day or within the first couple of times meeting you, and your whole aura reminded me of my son. Do you remember? I've told you this loads of times.
And we have the same birthday.
And that's what I was like. And then obviously it was coming into summer, and it was like, yeah, I'm birthday. And I'm like, what date are you? Same date as my son. And I'm like, well, there you go. So I kind of, just felt, and as everybody does when they meet you, just like this kind of easygoing but strong warmth, kind of, you know, drawn to you for them reasons. But yeah, getting into the cold water that summer was a massive integral part of my healing journey, you know. So, and then you're saying that I
there's
helped you with that. It's mental, isn't it, when you look
conversation
back?
we had in your car outside my house that morning will always stay with me, and then another conversation that we had probably a couple of months after, where we're kind of just getting to know each other and slowly becoming friends. And you had went and done your ayahuasca retreat, and I had spoke with people, Carries of the world, and different people, and I was intrigued and I was open-minded to it. But then it was a conversation that you had, and it was one sentence. It was that I feel the magic that a kid has at Christmas Eve, and something inside me was like, give me that. And I booked it that week. You know, that week I booked it to go a couple of months later. So it's really fascinating. You take conversations like that for granted.
Yeah.
But then when you join the dots.
At the time. It is. It's fascinating when you look back in your life, joining the dots, and that made you go, and then you're like, well, what's ahead? Because you can't join the dots going forward. You don't know that this conversation is going to maybe lead to this, or listening to a podcast or reading a book is going to direct you. It's only when you look back, like what Steve Jobs talks about in the commemoration speech. So this is why I am absolutely so excited for us to be doing these conversations.
They were conscious conversations without even realising it. Yeah. I remember being so nervous about going to that retreat. I'd never done anything like it before, and you phoned me the day before it and you were like, I'm excited for you to feel how you make other people feel, and it just took the nerves away. And then when I came back, well, you know yourself, you're making heads or tails of it, and I think you were the first person I really spoke to, because you have seen what I have seen.
Yes.
Tell me, do you know what I mean? And it was very, very comforting. And then it's just snowballed from there. Like, so much has happened in those 3 years. Like, so much.
Isn't it funny? Like you're saying, Ciara Daly, the makeup artist, and now I'm getting into this kind of sector, and it is just all about perceptions all the time, and how we perceive ourselves. Or then, like, I still find it strange, like you saying that, people are asking you, oh, you're going swimming, you're wearing Ciara Daly makeup, and it's like, it's just me, you know. It's very strange. But then people have perceptions of you now too.
Yeah,
you know?
And for me, like, because I don't associate you with makeup, because I'm not a guy, most guys aren't into makeup, of course. I associate you with self-development, because it was you that really got me into, like, making it a lifestyle, as opposed to go to the odd course or read the odd book. It was kind of you that was like, no, you do these things, you do all the things, because it constantly reminds you, and making a lifestyle. So I associate you with personal development and self-development. And
that's amazing, isn't it? So I associate you with getting your big hairy arse in the sea.
I know, thank God we had dry roads, because before that, trying to get changed, I think off of Helen's Bay, seen my arse.
I know, but sure, I was running about my Jay's house coat for 1.5 years before I got my dry rope.
And then I became snobs with dry ropes.
We're dry rope, what is it they say? Dry rope assholes.
But probably most people wouldn't have heard those wee stories, but they probably, anyone that's watching this probably associates our partnership with Happy Fest.
Yes.
Which just came out of nowhere, really.
Yeah. Well, it was, and then of course we did the Life Lounge together as well. Like, me and Kate had done that, and then we very much felt that you were part of that thing that we were trying to do, which was amazing through lockdown. And then, like, I can't even remember last year, we were trying to do like a mastermind group or something, and then we were like, we need to do an event, we need to get these people, again, another dot and joining and visualisation and all kind of what we talk about. It
was actually, it was another conversation on the Lisburn Road.
I'm sitting over there, yeah.
You were telling me that you felt so strongly about doing this thing that was in your head, but you had a fear of feeling depressed again because of how busy and how much of a mammoth task it would be. And I remember saying, well, why wouldn't you just ask somebody? And you'd be like, well, who? And I just went, me?
I was waiting on you.
And then,
do you want me to help you? Yes.
And then you were like, go, Will. And I went, right, okay, come back out now. I'm only joking.
Is that how it went?
No,
go, Will?
no.
Do you want to?
It was just, well, why don't you ask somebody? Who? Me? Okay, then go. Right? And that was it.
Yeah.
It was like a spit in a handshake.
Yeah, it was like,
And the whole thing's kind of been a spit in a handshake. Like, there's no contracts. What has developed has been a very deep trust and respectful, loving friendship.
Yes.
It's really flourished.
I think, to be honest, that's one of my favourite things out of this whole...
It's been some crack, like, hasn't
it? My favourite thing is the trust, the loyalty. You know, I was on my own for 15 years with my makeup business. And we touched on it this morning when we were having coffee. Like, to have someone like who you just know 100% has your back and you're completely and utterly on the same page with your vision moving forward is... And just the crack.
The crack's the best part for me.
Isn't it? It really is. And it just seems to work well. So we're very lucky, aren't we? Mm-hmm. Because like sometimes, like we were doing a retreat, we were just dancing and I just walked over to him and went, this is our new job.
I think we complement each other. I think obviously there's the male, female. You have definitely made me see that I'm capable of more and that more can be done as a person and within a team, and I've learned so much from you.
Well, you helped me because I doubted myself moving from being the makeup artist over into this industry. There was a lot of imposter syndrome because I'm going, well, who's going to listen to me? I'm a makeup artist. So you've helped me believe in myself too, which is great.
Good. I think we were meant to come together.
Yeah.
I think I kind of, if I'm honest, I thought Happy Fest, just because it hadn't been discussed further than that first year, which was last year, I had the short-term vision of it was probably going to be a one-off. Yeah. But I think that day, the day of the actual Happy Fest festival, was such a pivotal day in our lives.
Yeah.
In terms of, look what we came together and created.
For me, and I'm sure like I've achieved a lot in my makeup business, and I've had a lot of kind of high points and award shows and giving awards, receiving awards, different moments like opening night for my premises and different things, which were all highlights of my career. I can genuinely, hand on my heart, say that the Happy Fest day was the most fulfilled I've ever felt in a career way.
Without a doubt.
Without a doubt. It was the happiest, excuse the pun, but it definitely was.
That's
the happiest day.
Anyone that speaks, like my mum, seen her yesterday, bank holiday, and she was like, how's Happy Fest going? And she's like, Ciaran, I still have never seen so many people smiling and hugging each other. Mm-hmm. Like, it was created something truly special.
So, it's just, I think what's important for people to hear and understand, like, our purpose is, we have both had a hard journey and we have found ways to heal and we have found ways to live a happier, healthier life. And our purpose is just to help people out there to find that and to be the person and the people and show the way. Like, I just wish there had have been a Happy Fest 15 years ago when I was first, or more than 15 years ago now, 15, 20 years ago when I first started getting sick. I was just brought to the doctor and put medication. And I remember going to a counsellor, I think the GP had, and she was nice, but absolutely no impact in my mental health at all. There was absolutely, I remember going to the library and getting a book on depression, but it was I couldn't make head nor tail of it. At 26, it was kind of, I just didn't resonate with it. I remember then reading books by Eckhart Tolle, The Power of Now, which really helped me, or The Road Less Travelled by Scott Peck, the Dalai Lama, The Art of Happiness. These little books started to help me a wee bit. The Celestine Prophecies was another book back then. But they're really, and I didn't even know someone else who I could go and talk to about depression. None of my friends were depressed. None of my family, my aunts were, but they were just on medication. And that was it. There was no, what else do I do? It was just, I just felt like there was something wrong with me. And there was nowhere, like when I think back then, there really was nowhere for me to go. And we talk about this often, about finding your tribe, and it's not about misery finding love's company. And I didn't want to sit and just whinge and whatever, but there was nothing. There really wasn't anything back then that I felt, okay, here is a plethora of places I can go and people I can see and speak to, and actual things that I can do to help me feel happier. It was literally just medication. And now, when in the journey that I've had and all the things that I've tried, and people go, well, what do you think works? What's the best thing to do? And to me, it's not about one thing. It's like, if you think about, well, what is it that keeps you, like physically, what is it that keeps you healthy? You can't just say, oh, drink a cup of green tea every morning, or I don't eat junk food, or I don't drink, there's a plethora of things. And it's the same with your mental health, even though I very much believe mental health and physical health is all one. There is a plethora of things, and it's finding whatever works for you to keep your mental health healthy. Would you agree with that?
100%. It's becoming a lifestyle.
Yeah.
Just for me, it's not that I don't meditate every single day or do breath work every single day, but I'll do one thing a day. You know, yesterday I felt tired all day, and I took myself off to a forest and lit a fire. You know, it's for me, happiness comes from progression. It's the journey as opposed to the destination. So it's just having the awareness and the experience that there are an infinite number of things to progress through your day with.
I think and what was beautiful on our retreat was people saying, I have hope. I want to give people hope.
That was that
there
word.
is ways to heal. It's not just managing. I will say this until the day I die. It's not just about managing bad mental health or feeling sad or depressed. It's about, how can I heal? Show me ways to heal. And that's really my biggest message.
I think people even have a negative connotation of the word healing, because they think they're broke, or if somebody needs healed, there's some form of trauma. But healing's growth. Like you actually can't grow to your potential unless you've healed what's holding you back. You know, unless you've dressed the wound, because and that's what it is. It's refusing to put a sticky plaster over the gaping wound anymore, dealing with it, and moving on a stronger, happier.
I had a conversation yesterday with someone, and they're just having a bit of diffs in their relationship. And of course, sometimes you're still going to feel really, really sad. But I said to this person, look, you have so much more tools now than what you did when this happened a couple of years ago. That yes, you still feel sad today, but now you have your toolbox. And you're going to process through this a lot quicker. It's not about, I think that was the big thing that comes up. It's like, it's not about never feeling sad again. You know, it's about knowing that you're going to process it quicker and then feel happy out the other end of it. Yeah. For me, I just felt sad all the time, and unless something really amazing happened, then I would have felt a bit better, but then my baseline would have went back down. Whereas now I'm kind of happy most of the time unless something shitty happens. I think that's the difference. What's your average Tuesday afternoon? when nothing really has happened, how do you feel? If the answer to that is, I feel bloody miserable, and you're constantly looking for a dopamine hit to feel a lot better, then there's something that really needs addressed and looked at. If you're like, I'm pretty happy most of the time unless something shitty happens, that's normal. It's really figuring out what your normal is, isn't it?
Getting to know yourself.
Yeah.
That's the key, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
self-awareness.
Yeah. So I wonder, like the other thing that I've been thinking about recently is, like I looked at some conversations that I had when I recorded the Life Lounge a couple of years ago, and the questions that I was asking then, I was like, oh my God, you forget that you didn't know and what you're going to learn, you know. So I can't wait to look back at these in maybe 2 or 3 years and be like, oh, but I didn't have a clue what we were talking about. Like, what more is going to come?
Well, it's the same as Happy Fest. I mean, we met before that, and none of us have a background in events, but we led with the heart, and something special happened. And I think it's the same as this. We've no background in podcasts or media, but we're leading with the heart. Like, it's from a position of love. I think only good will come from it.
Yeah, and it's just about connecting and reaching out to people. If you're in pain, if you feel lost, if you feel lonely, you know, I think that is something that isn't talked about enough, is loneliness. The other thing that's not talked about enough is death. It needs talked about because it is such a part of life. So all these things, people are still, thank God we are breaking down stigmas and stuff, but we're hoping that we can have these conversations with different people. And if you're out there and you feel lonely, or it's like all these devices and apps and social media that we're meant to be so connected now, but we actually feel even more disconnected.
Yeah. It's weird. But I read something lovely just that you brought it up about the death, that memento mori, and it said to know death is to know life. Wow. Because when you know that it's going to end, it's like you need to start busy living.
Yeah, it's like in Shawshank Redemption. What did you call the guy? And he says that you get busy, you either get busy dying or you get busy living. Yeah.
And that's what we've done with this. We've just chose to do what makes us feel alive, really. Yeah. So for me, I think the best thing that's come out of Happy Fest, other than the festival itself, is the community we've started to build. And it's a word that we use time and time again over the weekend, was connection. Mm-hmm. It's a powerful tool. And I think as a man, and for women too, and for business owners and people, the world can seem lonely. Like, you think you take on all the responsibility, I'll do it all myself, but you can only go so far on your own. Yeah. I think connection, deep connection, is medicine, you know, and it's something that we all crave. Mm-hmm. But when we were having a coffee earlier, you'd said to me, like, I can't picture you losing your cool. Mm-hmm. But then I think that's been part of my journey as well, because you build up all this armour, and I seen a class quote, and it was like, you don't know how much violence it took for me to be this gentle. And it's just the journey of building the armour up and then taking the armour off. And then accepting what you are and who you are underneath the armour. And then, I suppose, finding that strength in your vulnerability, because that can be quite lonely as well. You know, the two paradoxes of the mask and then taking the mask off, both is lonely. But then finding like-minded people the way we found each other. But then finding the tribe. And for me, like 1,000 people turned up at Happy Fest last year, craving connection. Like, that was the big thing. It was connection.
This is the irony of the work that we do, is, like I said to a couple of girls on our retreat, because they were really in the depths of despair. And I looked at one and I just gave her a big smile and I said, I am so excited for you. And she was completely...
I remember this.
She was like, what? Like, because she was upset. And I went, I'm so excited for you that you have now looked to start finding ways to heal. that's what makes me so excited, and I always say this works, but you gotta work.
Yeah.
And you can't just, you gotta, and that word going back to being lonely, I think you don't feel as lonely when you know that other people feel lonely. You're not alone in your loneliness. So then you find connection there. And sometimes when I say, yeah, of course I feel lonely sometimes, people are like, because you can have loads of, I tell you, this was amazing. Somebody said, this lady who was on her own, she says, I've plenty of people to do stuff, lots of stuff with, but I've nobody to do nothing with.
Wow.
And
That's
I
powerful.
went, wow. Because yeah, we can all have friends and connections, but sometimes it's when you're doing nothing, who can you reach out to? Who can you connect with? And when you open up and you're like, and show your vulnerability and say, yeah, I get lonely sometimes, and someone beside you at, you know, one of our events and retreats is like, I feel like that too. And that has been one of the most beautiful things, is the girls, you know, that they were all came to the retreat on their own, and now they're all meeting up.
Best friends.
Best friends.
I think there's a few of them going to one of the girls' weddings and stuff in a couple of months.
Do you
and
know?
that's the kind of, not illusion, but as you begin to find yourself, one of the big key moments is you realise that you're connected to everything and everyone else.
Yes.
And that loneliness is the illusion.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But
yeah, like, but I said to a couple of the girls, I went, but you deserve to have them connections, because you were brave enough, you were courageous enough to go to that retreat on your own. Like, that blows my mind. People who go to the retreats on their own is just so courageous, especially if you're in a place of feeling really low, vulnerable, sad, despair, depressed, unwell, to actually know that you have the courage inside you to go, I'm sick of myself, which was Eckhart Tolle's epiphany moment. He said, I am sick of myself.
the gift of desperation.
Yes, that was so beautiful. And in the depths of despair, you will start to look for ways out, because you're that friggin' uncomfortable and you're in pain. You're like, you will want to get out, and it just takes that wee bit of courage in the depths of despair, and you will be rewarded.
The universe always rewards courage.
Yeah. And
Always.
that, for me, like my first ayahuasca retreat, I cannot tell you, and I share this often, was one of the most frightened I've ever been, because I was already in the depths of despair. I was so low, and I was unwell, mind, body, spirit, soul, whatever. It took every last bit of courage, every inch of courage that I had to go and do that retreat, and my God, was I rewarded. And so anybody watching who feels lonely, sad, lost, there are ways. There are ways to get better. There are people to connect with. There are better times ahead. Just find your courage.
That's a big thing for us. Like, it's a common theme. We call each other Lions and TLM, of course.
Yeah.
But I suppose we'll have to practice what we preach. But this year's another big courageous move, not just with the podcast, but with Happy Fest going over 2 days.
Yeah.
Expand, like, not playing it safe. We now know we can pull off one day and we'll be quite comfortable doing it. We're like, okay, this year we'll do it over 2 days. More speakers, more singers, more acts.
And it's okay to say we're still shitting ourselves,
I question my sanity at least twice a week.
Easy. But that's it, and that's growth. Even doing this podcast, every single thing, I'm like, oh God, now I've got to really practice what I preach here.
I think why I'm so passionate about becoming comfortable in the uncomfortable is because growth is uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. People don't like that. People don't like the fact that growth and evolution is
painful,
because you're shedding. You know, it's the metamorphosis. Like a caterpillar, when it goes into the cocoon, it dies. Like it turns to sludge. It literally dies. But what comes of it is the butterfly. But we, as humans, have the potential and the ability to go through that on a regular basis.
I think there was a part there was like, what would your legacy be? And I just went, if I can help people find their courage, I'm done. I'm happy. Just find your courage to get out of whatever painful place you are, whether that's a bad job, a bad relationship, just not happy with yourself, whether it's physical, whatever, like say you want to lose weight or just to find the courage to know that there's a way and to gain awareness and to have a thirst for awareness. Because all I know is like, I'm going, God, if only I had knew then what I know now. But thank God that, and I continue to want to learn more stuff. Because I go, there's people know stuff out there that I don't know that's going to make my life better. So it just makes me so thirsty for it.
Yeah.
You know, and that's what I don't understand when people are closed-minded. I mean, if you're super duper happy and your life is great, well then fair enough. But it's people who are unhappy in their life or situation or relationship or whatever, and they don't want to even look.
Yeah, and we've met those people recently that from the outside looking in, they've got their shit together.
Yes.
But they haven't felt true love, and actually the same with me. Like from the outside looking in before ayahuasca, I probably looked like I had all my shit together. You know, I had a lovely car, lovely home, lovely family, but I actually hadn't felt like that true, like unconditional love within myself. Mm-hmm. You know, and it's only until you start to explore the self. Really, but it takes an enormous amount of courage.
Yeah.
And I think it's also not just about knowing reading all these books and you have to embody it, you know. And I think we're doing well. This has become our lifestyle.
And it just becomes the norm.
Search for self, search for even more love and expressing even more potential and helping even more people. I think we're doing all right.
We're doing all right.
Against the odds.
Yeah, and if we
haven't even fell out yet, have we?
To touch wood now.
There's been the odd wee eye roll, or for fuck's sake, but we haven't. We're probably due a big bust up.
Did you not text? Did you phone her? No, don't say that.
I'm only joking. No, I don't. It's been a laugh, hasn't it? We've had some random hilarious buffo a couple of days before Happy Fest last year.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Just
even that Lan on the conscious rave, just laughing, didn't even know what we're laughing at. Mm-hmm.
But I think that's how you know.
Yes.
I think that's how you know, because life isn't all about suffering.
Exactly.
Suffering will happen, that's part of life, but it's not all about suffering.
It's just knowing you're a dick.
Yeah.
That's really what it boils. It's just knowing that you're full of shit sometimes. Do you know, we're all full of shit, even...
But we know we're full of shit.
Yes, I think that's... and I've said that to a couple of people, don't put us on pedestals, because we have, everybody has...
We're chief-est dick, really, aren't we? Yeah, but definitely don't put us on pedestals. And this is where the most normal, it's just...
Yeah, and I think the more people and successful people you meet, you understand that we're all just trying our best.
Yeah.
We're all just trying our best. I always, in a text message, I always write, we're just wee human beings, and I put the coffee beans beside it, because that's it. Everybody's just trying their best, and to have compassion and love for yourself first and foremost, and just try and get that balance and stay healthy of mind, body and spirit. Do something every day for all, you know.
Do you know what my favourite part of the retreats are? Is when we sit in a circle with everyone on a Friday night and say, we're going through this with you, and there's no Like we're the exact same as you. I struggle with that pedestal thing. That's
Yeah.
what I love about the circle. It's like we're human as well.
Yeah.
We're human as fuck, you know?
Human as fuck, I know.
And I think anyone that I have met that has like really embodied this way of life probably has been through the most shit.
Yeah.
You know,
They've
we're
been
there with
humbled.
our scars.
They've been, it's that humbling. Yeah, totally agree. Yeah. So here's to what's to come.
Bring it
God
on.
knows, yeah. So love ya.
Love you.